It's Ice Cream Castles, motherfucker. Alright, welcome back to my third time video. This has been a long time in the making, but we have finally done this. I've finally done enough groundwork because I really want to just nail this thing. Now, there's going to be quite a lot of talking and facts here. Like, I'm going to talk about dissolution of the time first. So, just for your edification, I have gone through and I've managed to transcribe the entire lyrics of the song Tricky. Just because it's going to be a lot of facts, and I just want to get you guys in a laughing mood because this shit is hilarious. Now, this was recorded in January of 1984, the song Tricky. It was a B-side to the song Jungle Love, and basically it includes the hilarious lyrics. Prince was doing that old man pimp voice, as you know, like the songs like Do Yourself a Favor and everything else, and Morris was also in it too. There's a lot of laughing in it, there's a lot of rim shots, and sort of like, you know, horns going off, and it starts off going, 1, 2, 3, 4. Why you big tossed salad head dude having long 12 snaggly looking gold tooth funk and habit phone level wearing beanpole looking black rim shot shit. And then Prince comes in doing his old man pimp. Oh, somebody bring me a piece of chicken. What Tricky says, yakety yak my ass, motherfucker. Oh, give me some horns. And then you hear some horns and drums go, look out. We can't put no more instruments on this. We ain't got time. We don't have them. What time is it? It's time for you to retire, you old fat. Wait. You old Michelin man, fat, black. Wait, look in the mirror. See your ugly face. I just want to run out of this place. Wait, give me some horns. Yeah. You, wait. And you can hear the sound of him eating chicken. It's just so black. And then you hear, you just old and fat. You know, old and fat. But yes, that's right. Yes. Johnny, bad, on the beat, everybody. And you hear all this laughing in the background. It's just so funny and so silly. It was a B-side to basically a massive hit single. So everybody heard this shit, basically. But now we need to get serious about this album. This is, as we know, this is the Time's third album. It wasn't their last album because Pandemonium came out in 1990. But this is the last album, basically, that dates from this golden period. I mean, in earlier videos, and I'm going to put them all together in a little playlist, I talked about the time and what time is it. So if you want to know about the Time story up to the middle of 83, you need to watch those two. We're going to start the story where we left off last time. Basically, what time is it to come out? It was a big, massive hit. You know, everybody loved the time. I mean, they'd just come off tour of Prince and Vanity 6 during the, Triple Threat tour. And I mean, everyone had just gone bananas over the time. I got a lot of the facts from this book. I mean, I already knew a bit about the Time's demise here, but I mean, Dwayne really filled it in. I mean, there was a lot of angst. Basically, the end of the story, the root of the anger came from when Prince fired Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and Morris Day took it to person. I've got some notes here, but just quickly, I'll just summarise what happened between May of 1983 and basically when What Time Is It came out. It came out on the 14th of July 1984, 3 weeks after Purple Rain. Okay, the first thing that happened, as you know, was this is the band here in 1984. As you can see, they're very different from the band in 81, 82. Basically, what happened was in March, as you know, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis went over to Atlanta to do some production for the SOS band between concert dates of the 1999 tour. They got stuck in a freak snowstorm. It was very freak because they were in the south, and it was also late March, so it was heading towards spring. They came, of course, they didn't show up to the next show, so basically Prince and Lisa and Brown Mark and a few others had to go behind, and basically I think Brown Mark jumped on the bass, and I think Prince actually played the keyboards or something like that in the Time set. He wasn't happy. He came back, but he decided he needed to finish the tour. The tour was 2 weeks from done, so he just let it slide. But then, apparently there was, at the same time, Prince had already started recording tracks for Ice Cream Castle. The Time were in attendance with him at Sunset Sound. And basically on the 17th of April, according to Turtle, Prince called basically Morris, Jesse Johnson, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis into a meeting. And basically Prince looked at Morris and said, look, if it was your band, I would expect more from a band leader. I need to do something about this. I said, you know what I heard, guys? About this outside production shit. And what it actually was, to not just missing the show, but there was a song called Keep On Loving Me. And it was produced by Leon Silvers, the man of Silvers fame, was a producer. And he swore that this song sounded like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And it aped the Minneapolis sound perfectly. And as you know, there are already heaps of people ripping off the Minneapolis sound at this stage even. You know, people like Jack and Carlton and everyone else. So what happened was Prince fired him, got angry. Morris took it really badly to heart. Morris got angry. He felt it was resentful because basically Morris thought he was a leader, but he wasn't. He was really just a puppet of Prince. And of course, not only did it make him angry, but also basically for a month they seethed because it was a month after, the break. They were already putting together Ice Cream Castle. And so what happened was, in the middle of May, Prince decided that, this is when the Purple Rain project was going ahead, so he got all his bands to come up to him and said, look, I need some commitment. You're all taking acting lessons. We're going to be doing some new music. You've got to learn it. We're going to do a movie. We're going to go out on tour. Everything else, we need you guys to be ready. You need to commit. And what happened was Monty Moore, the token white dude, left, basically, because, he was also missing Terry and Jimmy. And the rest of the band wasn't happy. Apparently, Jellybean Johnson, the drummer, also left briefly, but then he realised he needed the bread, man. So he went back into the group in late June. And what happened at the same time was 3 new cats came into the group. Paul Peterson, of course, who was very white, as you can see, much whiter than Monty Moore, and that caused a bit of resentment. And of course, this dude hiding in the back here, Mark Cardenas, and the story is that Toodle says that originally Prince wanted them to wear blackface because, and he was a weird ethnic mixture. If you look at him, he is actually half Mexican. Well, a name like Cardenas is clearly very Spanish, and half Russian. So there you are. Minneapolis seems to have all these weird mulatto hybrids. I'm figuring I'll fit in absolutely perfectly there, basically. And I'll probably be put into another Prince-like musical group, probably playing the bongos or something. But moving right along, so they came in, they started rehearsing, and they were good players. The third guy was a dude called Rocky Harris, but Rocky didn't last very long. But Rocky was brought in on bass. Paul and Mark both went onto keyboards, basically, and they took over from basically where Jimmy Jam and Monty left off, and of course Rocky Harris came in on Terry Lewis's bass playing shoes. And anyway, what happened was the band rehearsed for a while. Morris wanted very little to do with the new cats, and Morris was starting to lose interest in the whole group. He was absent from rehearsals and things, and realistically Jesse Johnson, our guitarist, he pretty much took over. And so he took over pretty much as the leader of the band, and he was actually quite nice to the new cats. And what he found was that they were actually really good. And then, of course, in October, there was the live show they played at 7th Avenue. Sorry, was it 1st Avenue? The famous nightclub in Minneapolis. And basically, that went down really well. And, of course, the 2 songs, Jungle Love and The Bird, were taped from that show. And actually, the Jungle Love was tweaked and actually went on the album. The version you hear on this album is actually the version you hear from that show in October of 1983. However, The Bird was replaced with a recorded version from March of that year. And then we get to November the 1st. Morris is still very erratic, but he is showing up for the filming of Purple Rain because again he needs money. Rumour was going around that him and Vanity were doing cocaine at the time, and cocaine might have been the reason for Morris's erratic behaviour because previously Prince was very strict, and Morris, like everyone else in the Prince organisation, had a strict no drugs clause. And Prince nearly fired him over when he found out about that. Vanity actually left, but what happened was on the first day of filming on November 1st, 1983. Apparently Rocky Harris, the new bassist, did not show up to filming. He overslept, but he was down there straight away. But Prince said, Morris, this is costing me $50,000 a minute. I can't have your team messing up. I said 4 a.m. I want your asses down here now. Of course it was bullshit, probably like $400 a minute. But anyway, he was fired and they brought in this new cat called Jerry Hubbard, who's this oak tree looking brother on the end basically. And he became the last bassist in the time. And basically Jerry Hubbard got to stay in the band because he actually showed up to rehearsals on time. Yeah, poor Rocky Harris, I've never even seen what the dude looks like. I assume he was probably black. It's the group that would be promoting the album. This is the group that basically were doing the lip-syncing appearances on Purple Rain, which were taped in November and December of 83. Basically, the time did not play any more live gigs. That was the sad thing. There was only one time they did play a bit of a live gig. That was in June 84. Again, it was this basically modified time here. Morris had actually left by that stage, and so pretty much everyone was thinking that Jesse Johnson would take over as singer. What happened though was when the band was about to start and Jesse was about to start singing, Prince came sliding across the stage. It was his Minnesota Music Awards in 1984, and Prince started doing all the singing basically, and pretty much the rest of the time played behind him. And after that, the time were essentially defunct. What happened was Cardenas left, Morris Day was gone, Jesse Johnson had left and started his own solo career. Jerome basically had stayed with Prince. What happened though was that basically Jellybean, Jerome, and St. Paul went into the new Prince group, The Family, which also added Susanna and Eric Leeds basically, and the rest basically left the organisation. Morris had already left and signed with along with Jesse Johnson. They had actually signed with other record companies, and both of them would have moderate hits. Of course, as you know, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis went on to become the biggest producers of the 80s and 90s. As they scooped up people like after the SOS band, they got Janet Jackson and basically reinvented her entire career and turned her into a megastar. And then, so that's the whole history of the whole thing, really. So by the time this album came in July 84, this band was gone. These photos were taken probably Even it was Minneapolis and there's no snow, and apparently this is a real mansion out in the country near Minneapolis, this ice cream castle. So my guess is this photo can't have been taken before April, because if it was before April, there'd be snow on the ground, it'd be quite cold. My guess is it was probably taken in April or May of '84, maybe even June, because Morris didn't leave until early June '84. But already by the time of the Purple Rain premiere in late June '84, Morris apparently had to pay and catch his own limo to the premiere, especially when Morris steals that movie. So that's basically the background to the time. Now, just quickly, we're going to talk about the formation of the album. Basically, again, you've got another 6-song album. The album itself is called Ice Cream Castle, but the title track is called Ice Cream Castle. Basically, it was taped in 3 major phases. The first part in March of '83, when they were still on the tour, Jungle Love was taped, and as you know, that song was replaced by the live version from October. Then in April of '83, basically The Bird, Kid Can't Make You Come, and Chili Sauce were taped, but also several other songs were taped that weren't used or used later. They include My Summertime Thing and Chocolate, which ended up basically on Pandemonium from 1990, and they were reworked in '89. Another song called My Love Belongs to You. Chili Sauce started life as a song called Proposition 17. And of course, the other song taped for the album at the time but was not included was Chlorine Bacon Skin, and that song, as you know, ended up on 1998's Crystal Ball, and that was a Prince and Morris composition. Finally, in between the 10th of January and the 19th of January 1984, My Draws, Ice Cream Castle, and Tricky were all taped. And that was funny thing about that was that Prince and Morris had a brief reconciliation. They were having a lot of fun in the studio. There was a lot of laughing. They recorded the silly song Tricky and everything else, and it was a brief reconciliation between the two because they were friends making an album. And even though the album was again all Prince, basically, it was basically a Prince album, the time were at least present at the studios. I mean, Morris was recording his vocals direct, and there are rumours that Jesse Johnson actually wrote some of the lines to songs like Chili Sauce and Ice Cream Castles, but Prince did vary them in the mix, and Prince kind of knew that these guys were fantastically talented. And of course, as you know, the album, because Purple Rain was so big and there was so much music coming out. I mean, you had Sheila E's album, you had Revolution's Purple Rain, of course, and Apollonia 6. And then basically Ice Cream Castle was shelved until July to come out, and it wasn't really that big a hit. I mean, it was a big hit, but compared to the rest of the Purple Rain stuff, it wasn't a massive hit. And the album overall got all the way up to number 24 on the Hot 200 Albums chart, which is by far their highest placing. I mean, what time has it only got into the 40s? It got to number 3 on the Black chart again. Again, black people just ran out and bought this thing. And again, it still only went gold. I mean, people thought it might have gone platinum, but it didn't quite get enough to get platinum. You've got to realise there's a massive difference between a gold album and a platinum album, basically. Alright, so this will be the part where I insert some pictures, so I won't be making a video where I'm cutting myself talking. And we're back. Okay, so we've got 3 singles came off the album. First of all, I'll just mention the tracks. There are 6 tracks on the album. Again, it's another 6-track album. It's only 38 minutes long. Basically, side 1, if you've got a record, Ice Cream Castles. The Ballad is the first song, followed by My Draws, then Chili Sauce on side 2, or track 4 if you've got a CD like this, basically. Jungle Love, The Kid Can't Make You Come, and The Bird. Overall opinions on the album is that generally I have a bias towards this album. I'm generally much more positive about it now. Most people would say that basically The Kid Can't Make You Come, My Draws, and Chili Sauce are fillers, basically. I think they're quite funny. I find them quite entertaining. Whereas and some would even say that Ice Cream Castles is a filler, but I don't think so. I think it's a beautiful ballad. And whereas Jungle Love and The Bird are basically 2 very essential time tracks, I mean, they're easily as good as some of the better stuff off the first 2 albums like Get It Up, Cool, and Wild and Loose and 777, 93, 11. You know, they've still got that sort of classic time punch to them, but the whole sound of the album is a bit ununified in a lot of ways. I mean, it's definitely not on the level of the first 2 albums. I mean, it feels like, you know, this is a band that's in a state of transformation, and in this case, as you know, I mean, it was pretty much imploding around them and Prince. But still, it's an important record, and because it was caught up in the whole Purple Rain thing, it did do reasonably well. Now, singles. Basically, 3 singles were released off the album. I mean, most people know of Jungle Love and The Bird, but the first single actually to come off was basically Ice Cream Castles. backside with that famous song Tricky. That actually was released on the 8th of June 84, and that was just before When Doves Cry had taken over the charts and everything. So it was actually a flop. It failed to make the white chart completely. It got to number 80 on the dance charts, and it made it 11 and on the R&B charts. And basically, that's probably the first time in a while that something had failed the charts completely. It's actually also quite a rare single now. Had it been released a month later after Ice Cream Castle came out and When Doves Cry was number 1, people think, oh, time, that's Prince. It would have been a big hit. Of course, September 84, the biggest hit. You know, everyone always seen the time dance live on Purple Rain. Jungle Love. It's coupled with Oh Baby, that really slow ballad from, oh my god, the first album, which I didn't like at all. That did really well. It got all the way up to number 20 on the pop chart, and it gave the time their biggest hit to date, and also their biggest first top 20 pop hit. It's not their biggest of all time though. Jerk Out did even better. I think that got to about number 9 or something. It actually went really high, Jerk Out, in 1990. And ironically, because Jerk Out actually does date from 1984, Prince originally recorded it for Maserati. They turned it down because they considered it too dirty. Because jerking, I don't even tell you what the jerking's about. And it got to number 9 on the dance charts and got to number 6 on the black charts. So again, another black hit as well. Final single, and it probably came in a bit too late to really have a big impact, was The Bird, coupled with My Drawers. So you got 2 songs off the album. Okay, it was not quite as big a hit of the black chart, only getting to number 33. It got to number 6 on the dance chart, which is the biggest dance hit on the album. But it still managed to claw up to number 36 pop, which is still a really good standing. And after Jerk Out, it's still the 3rd highest placing of any time single on the pop chart. Now, Jungle Love almost went gold. It didn't quite go gold, but it was a massive hit as well. And it proved that Prince in '84 was so big he could have hits with other groups because, as you know, but it wasn't the biggest hit from a satellite act with Prince so far. I mean, Sheila E's The Glamorous Life got all the way up to number 7 in October 1984, which I think is just incredible. I mean, it's such a great song, though. So, I mean, and of course, too, even though she wasn't a Prince satellite, I mean, Prince gave her the song I Feel For You. That got all the way up to number 3, as you know. I talked about in my Purple Gem. Okay, which has had to move aside for this video because I've been putting it off for so long. So we're just going to review the songs quickly because I can see we're already up to 17 minutes. Basically, Ice Cream Castles is quite a long song. It's a good song though. I mean, it's basically a ballad about interracial love. I mean, the lines are, you are white, I'm of colour. It actually shows a sensitive side to Morris. And again, like Gigolos Get Lonely Too, I would still think the lyrics would sound more convincing coming out of Prince's mouth. Because as you know, I think even though it's a time song and it was for Morris and all the other cats, I have a feeling that it was actually written for Prince. It was one of those Prince Susanna ballads because, as you know, Susanna was white, Prince was black, and yeah, it's quite tender. That's the inside of the CD. I mean, of course, you know, it's quite basic, being 1984. No, I think this is an original CD from the 80s, as you can see. Yep. But anyway, it's actually a really good song, though. It's got a nice beat to it. I mean, Morris's vocals are very convincing. There's a really good part going, let's do something. Great drum track. And then there's the breakdown towards the end. I mean, the single was edited. They cut out the last bit, but there's actually a jam Prince was working on at the time, because this is early 84, called White Girls. And White Girls was a funk jam. You hear this up, Jericho, White Girls, ow, it's like this James Brown type breakdown towards the end. It's really funky. You know, it's actually a really essential song. I don't know why people write it off. I mean, maybe they're put off by the balladry of the first part, but after 4 minutes into the song, I mean, it gets into the sort of James Brown, almost like, you know, help me, I need a hand type, you know, funk feel to it. It's actually really funked out, and again, Prince's background vocals are very strong here too, and it's really more sort of, it's definitely more a Prince song, I feel. I mean, maybe you guys feel about that too, is that it's more Prince than the time. Okay, then we've got My Drawers, which is sort of a straight ahead rock song. There's actually quite a lot of good rock guitar in it. Again, I mean, superfluous to say what drawers is, but it's African American slang for someone's underpants, pretty much. So it's about, you know, how much action the guys are getting. So I mean, again, this is definitely more a time song. This is definitely more something that's been tooled for Morris Day, you know. And apparently, again, Prince wrote it with his the Jamie Starr pimp persona. Realistically, the Tricky, when I did that at the start, that was sort of more a Jamie Starr type thing. Jamie Starr was this filthy pimp, this filthy, nasty, jive-talking pimp, like I showed you the picture of him and Morris in the studio. Yep. So, and it's actually quite a good song. I mean, yep, and but it's not as good as Ice Cream, but still a good song. Chili Sauce, okay. A lot of people write this song off, basically. I quite like it. It's more a skit than a song. Prince plays the part of a waiter who's actually pisses off Morris Day, He puts on a sort of like fake Mexican muchacho sort of tattoo type voice going, "Good evening, Mr. Day. Would you like a table for two?" He goes, "Yes, give us one of those sexy little tables in the corner." "Oh, I'm sorry, they're all taken. Jerome, oh, I'm sure we can come to some arrangement." "Morris, was that necessary?" "Jerome, oh, okay, Morris, I'm sorry." And I think it's actually Vanity playing the woman again, like she played the role in The Walk, and anyway he goes, "Oh, this is such a nice restaurant. Have you been remodeling? I mean, this is such a nice restaurant." And Princess Mary goes, "What I wouldn't do for a broken bottle." "Sorry, what was that?" "I said we've been remodeling." And he goes, "So will you also be having the cocktail?" "Yes, for dessert." And he goes, Say, say, my brother, do you know that dance called the walk?" "Why, certainly, Mr. Day. Well, everybody knows about the walk." "Well, why don't you walk your ass on over to the other side of the room? Pow! Maybe I'm going to buy this restaurant and fire that man." And then he starts doing all this love patter going, "It's not often I put my cards on the table for the young ladies, but I'm going to make you love me." And then the funny part, he talks about something going, "I wish you could see my home. It's so exciting. In my bedroom, I have a brass water bag surrounded by plants and lights and shit. All sorts of erotic little artifacts, And then he talks about going, "I have a chef, Jerome Scalagrecci." The fact his name is Jerome, it ain't no Italian chef. It's actually Jerome Benton. He's like Morris's girlfriend. I mean, it's really good because he kind of runs the same pattern on Apollonia in the Purple Rain movie. That's just about the brass water bed, and I'm gonna make you love me. He doesn't do the part though. He takes out the $100 note and goes, "Keep the change." And then he goes to Jerome, "Go give me my change. Anything, Morris." It's just silly and hilarious. And of course it ends up where he gives her some champagne, which is obviously spiked. Go, "How's that taste?" "Not strong enough. Here, try mine." I just can't get enough of it. I know I'm the least convincing Morris Day impersonator in the world, but Morris Day, I mean, there's not enough real to take this guy's bloody comedy. I mean, he's just so funny. And this song, it just has me in stitches every time I hear it. And then we get to the other side, which includes the song Jungle Love. Now, Jungle Love is basically a time legend. It's an amazing song. Of course, Jungle Love again, sex, with black people. "Baby girl, I'm gonna show you. Dun, 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 my jungle love can't go for that. Yeah, here we go. Girl, I'm gonna show you. Dun, 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 dun. You've got a pretty car. Lock you up and take your hide the key. Don't whoa, 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 whoa. If you get louder, baby, come if you're hungry. Take a bite of me." There's a sort of a sampler of lyrics in it. Great song. I mean, you've seen the live performance where they're all dancing across the stage. It's just funky. It's just jivey. It's just Morris Day magic, basically. And of course, now we're here in July 2019. We are so lucky to have that Prince version. And I love the Prince version too, but I still think this version nails Prince. I'm sorry, Prince, but you wrote that song for Morris Day, and Morris Day owned that damn song. Although your version's pretty good too. And then we come to the one song I actually do think's a bit of filler. There's a bit of that sort of silly, chintzy, sleazy piano playing like that. "Doom, doom, baby, I'm gentle as a flower." And again, of course, it relates directly into Purple Rain. I mean, the kid, of course, is Prince's character in Purple Rain. It's not bad. I mean, it's a sort of really sexified, ballad. There's a funny part where Morris does, "This little piggy went to Paris. This little piggy went to Rome." That's quite funny, but it's the weakest cut on it. It's still a decent cut, though. And then finally, we get to basically another albatross, another time legend. That's the bird. And I just love the pattern in the song part going, "Do y'all want to hear a new dance? You only qualified to hear one. If I don't see y'all on the dance floor in 15 seconds, I don't want to see you no more. Jelly Bean, are we ready? Let's do this. What time is it?" Dun, dun. It's killing time. That's right, because I am. Do you, America, have you heard? Brand new dance. It's called the bird. Don't need no possession, no personality. All you need is flex your wings. Everybody dance with me. Come on now. What? Hallelujah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's just such a funky song. And they're doing this dance. It's like the chicken like going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hallelujah. What? It's just hilarious. I just laugh my head off. But it is a really powerful song. It's a shame Morris Upton left, because even at this stage, when he was apparently in his coke-addled state and everything, he was still an absolute dynamite live performer. I mean, he kept the band together. The whole band was funky. They were all like kind of stepping behind him and playing the instruments like, do with the guitars, like standing behind Morris, and they're doing that sex in and out dance. It's very energetic, very upbeat. And even though, I mean, in Purple Rain, of course, Prince wipes the floor by playing Purple Rain, which has everyone in tears after they've been dancing their asses off. It's just a fucking incredible song. I mean, you cannot dispute greatness, basically. If nothing else, the fact that The Bird and Jungle Lover on this album is going to make it a legendary album. I probably messed up a lot of lyrics there, but it's just such a great album in that regard. And yeah, I mean, The Bird is easily one of the strongest songs on the album. I mean, the funny line then going, there's an extended part where just like a Jerome, bring me my mirror, down, 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 and you see Jesus Daniel playing his guitar going down, 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 and then you hear him go, yo, the Wright brothers can't fuck with that. I just think that line's really hilarious. And he go, Jerome, come on everybody, take him home, America, I pledge allegiance to the time. What? Hallelujah, pledge allegiance to the time. It's just fucking hilarious, and it's great. So that ended basically what was probably the time's most maligned album. I mean, again, it was a gold seller. It was a hit. Overall, I think I gave the time 7, and I gave What Time Is It an 8.5 or a 9. This would get a solid 7.5. It's definitely better than the time. Nowhere near as good as What Time Is It Though. I mean, I think that realistically, Ice Cream Castles is an 8 out of 10 by itself. My Draws is about a 7. Chili Sauce about a 6. Jungle Love's a 10 easily. The Kid Can't Make You Come's the only real filler, which I give about a 4 or a 5, and The Bird is also another 10, basically. It's a really solid album. You know that if you look at an album, you see a guy wearing a blooming pimp coat and several cats walking around in shiny suits and sort of 1930s gangster hats. You know there's going to be some badass shit on this album, basically. So it is badass, basically. And it's a great album. That's the time, So that's my second Purple Rain video. And the next video, and brace yourselves, people. It's coming. It's the Adore Cream Purple Rain album review. We are going to review Purple Rain, and we're going to review all the singles as well, all the B-sides. We are going to review the living fuck out of Purple Rain. The only thing we're not going to review, though, is Purple Rain Deluxe, because I reviewed that back in 2017, and I pretty much stand by my comments back from that video. But I've already bundled that video into my Purple Rain watch list, so there you are. There will probably be another gem before I do the Purple Rain album, because it's going to take a lot of work. It's taken me a lot of work to soak up to this, and as you can tell by my singing and some of my facts, I did make some stuff up. So like I did say at the start that Tricky was the B-side to The Bird, when in fact it was the B-side to Ice Cream Castles, basically. So there you are, the time Ice Cream Castle. Go and get it. It's funky and it's groovy. And may you all live to see the dawn.